Welcome back to another turf lab video. Today, we're going to be fixing this edging around this mulch bed in the front of my house. For some reason, when they installed this, originally, they put a sprinkler head that was about 3 inches outside the bed, and then they planted the flowers way too close to the edge of the bed, so I can't even properly edge this mulch bed. So what I'm going to do today is use my good old edger that you can pick up at Lowe's. I love this thing. I know there's a lot of fancier ways to do it, but I just love this typical edger. Stick it in the ground, push it in, step on it, and basically just do a line down. So I'm going to extend this mulch bed here about 3 or 4 inches. I'm just going to quick show you guys here. So as you can see, so the sprinkler head is right here, and then the mulch bed. So it's too close to these plants. So trying to weed whip or maintain that edge, this one specifically, it's just too close to the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that today. So kind of a different video here. Not always about grass, right? But I'm going to kind of go through this, and then I'll just obviously speed it up as I'm chopping this through. But I'm going to go ahead and make a line all the way down here, just so it's nice and straight. And then I'm just going to merge it back in on the corner here, like so. So should be pretty easy. And then I got a whole bunch of mulch over there to kind of fill it back in, because my mulch beds in general need a little bit more mulch since they're all brand new. All right, let's do it. First step here, obviously it's the front of the house, and I want to make sure that the bed is going to be the same exact distance all the way across. So I'm going to measure my desired spot is going to be at about 46 inches out. And I use that just because that's where over here on this edge, actually about 44. So 44 gets me right on the other side of the sprinkler. So 44 seems good, so I'll use that. And so that is going to get us to about right here. So my spray paint. And I always spray paint so that the part that I'm removing, I always remove right on the edge of it. So 44. So now I'm just going to go along, make some guidelines here, so I can kind of just start edging without having to worry about it too much. And yes, this paint does wipe off of my tape measure. I've done this a million times. So this should be good. It looks like overall I'm probably getting, it's actually getting a lot more even as well. So it looks like, just looking at my lines here, the original company that must have landscaped this bed definitely was not doing this, because using 44 inches as a mark, it's definitely getting deeper over here. And then on my corner here, right, to take it in. Something like that, some mason around it. We'll have it start there, and then obviously, as you can see, 44 inches. I'm a little bit deeper over there. And then, of course, make sure you measure twice. Especially in the front of the house, I do not want to be having to redo anything. So 44, boom. Yep, perfect right in front of the sprinkler. 44, perfect. 4. And then again, as you can see over here, it's slightly out. So whoever originally dug this bed was probably just eyeballing it, or who knows. Never know on a new prop. Yep, and then there, and it'll just kind of curve it in. All right, so we got it marked here. So again, spade in the ground, put this in, and then basically just push it into the ground. Pretty straightforward. Now I know there is a sprinkler line probably over here. And based off my other sprinkler lines that were done by a different company with the builder, some of them are very shallow. So on that one, on my first one that I had the sprinkler, I'm just going to be very soft. All right, as we go here, you see it just kind of push down and cuts it. Then cut. Slide it down, cut. Slide it down, cut. Slide it down, cut. Really just focusing on going straight across. Doesn't have to be too perfect right now because we'll fix it up once we get a majority of this out. As you can see there, I hit lots of rocks, but that's okay. Really want to use this to define our edge. And now here's where we just need to slightly turn. All right, so we did the initial pass. So far we've measured, marked with our paint, did our initial pass with just our little manual edger that we got from Lowe's. Did one pass. Obviously it didn't go in some spots because they hit some rocks and things like that, but that's okay. And so now we're just going to take our flat shovel here, basically go back into the holes and try and push the dirt out. So two different ways. You can go right into the line, push down, just kind of pop it up. And that's usually the easiest way, especially if you have sod. I do not have sod, but it still should pop up pretty close to that. So like that. And then come back from this way here and just dig it out. So, like so. And so you can see here, bring you in a little bit closer. So when you pop it out, you get, your edge that you dug in. And then this is why I get all this out. And then basically I'll re-edge just to give it a really, really fine looking edge. But I need to grab a wheelbarrow so I can start tossing this stuff on the wheelbarrow. All right, so I got the wheelbarrow. Just going to toss these chunks right up in the wheelbarrow. Woo. All right. I always like to pull coming at an angle like that so that it creates that little moat on the inside of my trench. And I need to get my gloves. And trying to be very easy around this sprinkler head because, again, I don't know how deep they buried the hose. Like I said, I had one that was like 2 inches under the surface, so I just do not want to accidentally hit one of those hoses because then I'll be making a new video called How to Repair a Hose. All right, so I got it originally trenched with my little edger tool, went ahead and dug it out with a square shovel. It is very hot. It is a lot of manual work. I'm not going to tell you that it's easy. But now I'm going to show you where we're at here. So with my trench, it's a little hard to see on camera, but we do want to try and maintain this slope, right? So we want it to be coming from the house over to the edge in the trench, because that's ultimately what we're using for our drainage from these beds. So it's very important now that I have everything out I want to come through with a shovel and make sure that everything is flowing down at about a 40, maybe 45 down into a straight edge here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through with my trencher edger tool again here just to get it nice and clean. And then I'm going to take my flathead shovel and just kind of come through and push it at about a 40-degree angle, just to make sure that angle's there. And then it should be nice and cleaned up. And then we'll get the weed whip out, make it a nice fine edge, and then we should be able to be ready to put some mulch in. So let's do it. As you can see, it's much easier coming through now because we've removed pretty much all the rocks. Still feel a couple rocks in there, but right, let's still get. All right, so there we go. So the edge. Now, the important step. Take your shovel at an angle. You just kind of go in. Get this dirt off. See what you're left with is this nice smooth surface here, and put mulch on there. And then as our grass tries to grow over here, whatever tries to grow over here, we can just come through, re-edge it. Or during our weekly mows, we can just come through with the weed wick and just basically trim this off. If anything tries growing through this wall, it'll be really easy to just weed whip it. And it'll also die because it'll come right back onto the sun. All right. So, looks like lots of bricks. All right, so we just got finished putting in the mulch. I'm gonna do one little pass here so you can see it. And that is how easy it is to redo a mulch bed or fix a mulch bed with natural edging with just a couple tools that I showed you. Again, you could like, subscribe, comment on the video if you have any questions. And I appreciate you joining me for another Turf Lab video. Thank you.